Let's go next to Sam from New York City on what is not an auspicious start here. Sam from New York City, you're on the air.
Yeah, can you hear me? I'll try to help turn things around.
Yeah, please. I can hear you fine.
All right, I'll try my best. One question that I've grappled with really for since I guess, Trump came down the escalator, or,
Yeah,
that moment is, I know you don't identify you're not a registered Democrat, correct?
that's right.
But you tend to align with the Democrat. I am a registered Democrat, but also like you have my issues with the party.
Sure.
But one thing I try to ask myself is, what would it take for me to vote for a Republican?
Hmm.
When I consider how insane decision must be to vote for Donald Trump, I think I cannot imagine how anyone would logically come to that conclusion. One thing I try to ask myself is, all right, well, what would a Democrat do that would make me not support a Democrat? And is there a line you think? I'm not being super clear, but I guess should we be more understanding of potential reasons diehard Republicans voted for Trump when as Democrats are incredibly unwilling to consider voting Republican?
Well, you've got to talk to the Democrats that you're referring to and see what their answer would be. Like, for me, it's really clear. If you give me a race where the Republican is the better option than the Democrat based on policy and based on all of the things that we look at, like, in other words, if in the last election Joe Biden was the Republican and Trump was the Democrat, I would have voted for the Republican Joe Biden because I thought Joe Biden was the better option. What you're, I think, getting to is people who are blindly voting for party without really looking at the candidates, right?
Yeah, I guess it's also a moral question. Let's say the Republican and Democrat are both sort of generic, middle of the road Republicans, Democrats in terms of policy, but the Democrat is incredibly compromised for some personal behavior or whatever else.
Sure.
What
Yeah,
would it
that I mean,
take for
that's
me
one
to
consideration. The other consideration could be you might have a very centrist Democrat and a very centrist Republican, and they are very similar on policy. But you might say, well, overall, the platform of the Democratic Party is closer to my view than the platform of the Republican Party. So even though I'm kind of indifferent on these two candidates, I'll vote for the Democrat because their party has the platform I prefer. This is, unfortunately, this is way more thought than most people put into who they vote for.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's sort of like I believe that just take healthcare policy by the Democrats
Yeah,
saves many thousands of has the potential to save thousands of American lives. So
sure.
even if some Democrat, this is obviously hypothetical, went out and killed someone, they killed one person, but I think electing them would pass healthcare policy that would save thousands of lives, then you can sort of make that calculation, that utilitarian calculation to
Sure.
justify it. And I don't know, it just gets
Yeah,
into
no,
a
that
weird
makes sense.
space.
I mean, that's sort of like if you have two candidates, one of whom is a rapist, but would likely pass Medicare for all. Does it still make sense to vote for the rapist because it's going to be good for so many people? I mean, yeah, you start to get into those types of questions, and it's a very personal thing for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your thoughtfulness on this.
Appreciate the call. Thank you very much. Very important topic. One of our sponsors is Four Sigmatic, the company best known for their delicious mushroom coffee. Four Sigmatic's mushroom coffee is organic, fair trade, single origin Arabica coffee with both lion's mane and chaga mushrooms. Chaga mushrooms have actually been shown to have potential in supporting the immune system in peer-reviewed studies. I've been drinking Four Sigmatic coffee a lot lately. It actually doesn't taste anything like mushrooms. It just tastes like any delicious coffee, but it's really easy on my stomach, doesn't give me any jittery feeling or a midday crash. And they have over 20,000 five-star reviews. And best of all, if you don't love it, you'll get 100% of your money back because they stand behind their product. You've got nothing to lose by giving it a try. Four Sigmatic is giving my audience up to 40% off and free shipping when you go to foursigmatic.com/Pacman. The link is right underneath this video.